Plus, they can swim.
They're bringing in, I got to tell you, my favorite aircraft, the A-10 Warthog. I love the Warthogs. They're in.
Very interesting thing I might want to point here out on the F-18. You might be able to pick it out, and that is the bunker busters. A lot of talk about the weaponry used in this conflict with Iraq.
The networks also deployed an endless caravan of animated stat sheets for various weapons systems. Weapons became central characters in the drama, and the Iraq War movie featured a cast of dozens. In the near-total absence of meaningful debate regarding the wisdom of military invasion, we were inundated with meaningless trivia regarding the weapons of the invasion.
Which U.S. battle group on patrol in the Persian Gulf is now stationed closest to Iraq? Is it A, the USS Abraham Lincoln, B, the USS Constellation, or C, the USS Harry Truman? The answer coming up on the Showdown Lowdown.
This obsession with the weapons of war has a name: techno-fetishism. Weapons appear to take on a magical aura. They become centerpieces in a cult of worship.
The test is of the newest, biggest, baddest U.S. bomb.
Now, this is the first live test of a MOAB, and we expect to get video of this test up here at the Pentagon sometime today.
When the Pentagon showcased the largest conventional bomb in its arsenal, the MOAB, the networks went wall to wall with rituals of devotion.
And we have been told they will try and release some pictures to us.
The MOAB carries 18,000 pounds of high explosives and on impact creates a 10,000-foot high mushroom-like cloud that looks and feels like a nuclear weapon.
Apart from gazing at the majesty of these bombs, we are also invited to step inside these high-tech machines and take them for a spin. Thanks to anchors like Lester Holt, for example, we were able to ride inside a B-1 bomber.
I was on a simulated bombing mission in a B-1 several months ago. The bombardier, no windows, in the dark, never sees the ground, simply putting in coordinates.
And we even find ourselves in the cockpit.
But over Iraq, the B-1s will likely be operating much higher, as they were during this simulated bombing mission MSNBC flew on last fall over Texas.
And also aboard the B-2 bomber. Perhaps we were as giddy as anchor Greta Van Susteren to try our hands at the controls.
How do you steer this thing? I mean, you have a stick, is that right?
Sure. We have both of us have matching center stick with left throttles. You can do everything from that side of the cockpit that I can do from this side of the cockpit. And
President Bush acted out this wish in 2003 as part of a photo opportunity. Daydreaming about riding in a fighter plane thus became an official national pastime.
The president chose to fly in on a Navy jet because he wanted to experience landing on a carrier's short deck and the adrenaline rush that comes with it.
He was like catching his breath. He was just like, wow, and, he had to take a little time to pause for a second.
He'd hoped to be in one of the sexier fighter jets, but that idea was grounded by the Secret Service. That wasn't the end of the president's experience on the flight deck. He was also treated to the teeth-rattling power of the F-18s as they rocketed off the Lincoln on their final mission.
If we don't have a president or a news anchor handy, sometimes we just hitch a ride. Or if we have the means, we can purchase one of the military vehicles on the consumer market. Not only are we invited to fantasize about being in the driver's seat, we are routinely invited to peer through the crosshairs too. These repeated modes of imaging war cultivate new patterns of perception, new relationships to the tools of state violence. In other words, we become accustomed to seeing through the machines of war.
Byron's report was taped using a special night scope lens.
These modes of seeing position us not as third-party observers, but rather as woven into the apparatus of battle.
The fully digitized M1A2 tank. If the enemy stays together...
Apart from ritualistic worship, the fetishizing of weapons demands that they be depicted as objects of beauty. The romance of the still photograph will do the trick. Weapons sometimes take on sexual symbolism. Weapons are often shot in silhouette against a sunset. These techniques can be found in a number of places, such as military recruiting ads, in music videos on the war movie soundtrack, movies like Saving Jessica Lynch or The Heroes of Desert Storm are chock full of sunsets. We don't have to look far on the news for a caption to these images.
The forces on the front facing what's left of Iraq's armed services may soon see those Buffalo Soldiers and the rest of Task Force Iron Horse galloping over the horizon riding 500 heavy tanks and other armored equipment. That's it for Kuwait City. Back to you.
It's going to be a sight for sore eyes. Geraldo Rivera from Kuwait. Geraldo, thanks very much.
The final aspect of weapons fetishism ascribes an inherent moral goodness to technology. An act of destruction is regarded as more righteous if caused by high-tech weapons as opposed to low-tech.
Swift, surgical, powerful, more accurate weapons, more advanced technology.
The story of the inherent value of high-tech weaponry is often told through the language of civilization versus barbarism. High-tech weapons are often used as evidence of the moral superiority of the nations that wield them.
That our technology is advanced to the point where we can pinpoint where Saddam Hussein is.
They better not mess with the United States of America, and they better not mess with civilized countries, because we are going to defend ourselves, and we are going to stand up for civilization against these barbarians.
If this aspect of techno-fetishism is to make sense, it must be accompanied by a constant reminder of the disparity between high-tech and low-tech.
A combination of skills, ranging from diplomacy to high-tech combat, enable them to operate amidst an ancient culture.
And through its narrow valleys.
You can fly over places that look like the Stone Age.
With a faithful weapon, the Cobra helicopter.
One can only see through a night vision lens. Technology believed to be in short supply in the Iraqi army.
More evidence of the huge technological gap that has developed between the U.S. and Iraq since Operation Desert Storm.
So this time around, it was literally almost a no contest.
Iraqis are taking on American troops, sometimes armed with nothing more than a flintlock rifle. They take on tanks with their sedans.
This disparity is even represented graphically. The low-tech side of the war equation is often rendered in a jagged typewriter font. High-tech weapons often blend with national symbols.
And to think, somewhere, some poor guy is buying a minivan. Navy, accelerate your life.
In 2001, military recruiters began to make the appeal to techno-fetishism a major part of their recruitment campaigns.
Why should you consider getting an education in the Navy? This is one of your classrooms. Because rocket science is more fun when you actually have rockets. Navy, accelerate your life.
You ever been around anything this fast before?
Yeah, in my last job.
It's the most powerful weapon system ever invented. It's called Aegis, and it's just one of the amazing technologies you'll find only in the United States Navy. Navy, accelerate your life.
TV news and recruitment ads seem to be borrowing from the same set of images. This is significant. It tells us that the two are essentially telling the same story.
There's a saying in the military, train like you fight, fight like you train. A mantra American air crews have faith will keep them alive and help them get the job done as America once again goes to war.
He is the ace of spades in the playing cards of the regime's most wanted members. His whereabouts are the subject of speculation and wild rumor.
In order for the Iraq War movie to be properly dramatic, it needed to construct a proper villain. Saddam Hussein, with his well-known record of dictatorial rule and mass murder,